G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, today we're going to look at taps and dies. If you've got a workshop, you're a handyman, model maker, you've got to have a set of taps and dies in your kit. It's absolutely essential. And this set here, this metric set, I bought this when I was in my late teens. This was only a cheap set, made in Japan, and you can still buy these sets. They're basically now made in China, but they're the same sort of thing. And they're just carbon steel, and they do a range of the popular sizes in the popular thread pitch, which is metric fine. This set is 50 years old. I've had this set 50 years. It just shows you, how much work it's done. Huge amount of work. And as you can see, quite a few of the taps have been broken over the years, and they've been replaced with high-speed steel, which is a far better type of tap. Some are Chinese, some are Australian-made brands, but the Chinese ones, the Asian ones, are just as good as the locally made ones in high-speed steel. And basically, if you do buy replacement taps, you can really only get high-speed steel anyway. The carbon taps are only in the sets really, and they do the job. They don't cut quite as nicely as high-speed steel. They don't stay as sharp as long, but they do the job. And as I said, for 50 years, this has been my metric set. Invaluable. So, anyway, recently I was looking at VEVOR's site, and I see they have taps and die sets there, and they have metric ones as well, and they've got them in tungsten steel. Now, carbon steel like this, black stuff, is also referred to as bearing steel, whereas these are high-speed steel. You can see the difference in the colour, it's just the finish on them. But anyway, I saw they had this metric set there that looked really interesting, because it wasn't just metric fine like these, it was metric coarse as well. That was a big set. So I thought, gee, I could really use metric coarse. I never had those, and it's a bit awkward, So anyway, I got into VEVOR and said, can I check out your taps and die sets? And they said, yep, we'll send you one. So it's arrived, and today we're going to have a look at it. So we'll see what you get. It's under $100, just under $100, but it's a big set, 110 pieces, which is a lot. So yeah, we'll undo the box and we'll see what's in there. You can see, in comparison to my old set, it's a big box. That's a big set, and it's basically more than twice as big. So yeah, let's check it out. Okay, let's open her up and see what we've got. Wow. Wow, look at that. Compared to what I've got. Wow. This is amazing. Beautiful. That looks fantastic. Look at that. Sheesh. Wow. 4 flute straight taps. Now that's what you want. You can add 3 flutes. And quite often the smaller sizes will be in 3 flutes because of the lack of metal. But these all, yeah, these all look like 4s. You can also get spiral flutes. Now spiral flutes are mainly used in production, but it helps if you're tapping into a blind hole, because it will tend to lift the cuttings out of the hole, whereas a 4 flute like this, which is your regular most common ones, won't do that. And a 3-flute tap, which I've got some of, are also handy. They're mainly better for chip clearing, but under normal circumstances, all other circumstances, 4-flute is really what you want. They give the best cut, the most accurate cut, and yeah, really good. As you can see, in addition to the 2 types of thread pitches, there's fine and coarse in metric, you also have 2 types of tap formats. You have an intermediate, which is what you would use for starting off the thread, and then you've got a plug tap, which you can use for finishing or for going into blind holes. So basically there is a 3rd set, which is a starting tap, which is like a longer taper version of this, for the intermediate. Most basic sets have intermediates, not many of them have starting taps, because you can generally start off okay with an intermediate. Now, being high-speed steel, because this is high-speed steel tungsten, and I've got another set which is high-speed steel cobalt, and basically it's high-speed steel predominantly with a dose of tungsten or cobalt. Now, the big advantage of high-speed steel over carbon steel, the really cheap sets, is that high-speed steel will flex to a certain degree. So if you're tapping and it's getting a lot of load on the tap and it's potentially going to break, you'll know with high-speed steel that it's getting in that position more, because you'll actually see the flutes deflect. It'll actually, the tap will start to twist a bit on itself, whereas carbon steel, no, they just go bang and that's it. There's no warning. They won't flex, and yeah, high-speed steel, you get the flex, and then you'll hear that tick, tick, tick sound. You know, you'll get the tick, tick, tick sound with carbon, which is telling you that A, things are too tight. You know, back off or drill your hole bigger. You know, because it will vary with the type of metal that you are tapping. You know, thread charts are okay to a point, but you have to allow for the different hardness of the metal for the depth of the thread that you're cutting. You know, that's a whole different story, and in this case we're just looking at the taps. Yeah, the taps look fantastic. The diameters and thickness are the same as the other ones that I've got in my various sets. I mean, they do vary between makers, but in this case these are the same as that, and the little ones in here are the same as that, so everything's interchangeable, so that's really good, and you're not, you know, oddballing die sets between holders. So yeah, everything's under control. That's good. Now the tap holders and the die holders are made of some sort of mystery metal here. It's not magnetic, so it's some sort of an alloy. Whereas, I mean, the handles are all steel, but so that's the same sort of material as you get in the ordinary sets like that. So if you wanted to go to a steel framed holder, you'd have to go for a much more expensive brand name, but these should do the job, and where it counts on the jaws is all good hard steel, and yeah, should last and do the job. They also give you a little single-handed tap holder for the small taps, which is good. I've got several of these. I mean, you get a whole range of different types of holders for taps and dies. I've got heaps of them, you know, they vary a lot. And, you know, some have ratchet heads and all this. But in this case, well, this is the basic standard set, and this is exactly everything you want to do the job. The case is actually quite good. It's not flimsy, and everything clips in quite securely, so it's not all going to fall everywhere when you take, you know, open it up. So in this case, it just clips in. The same with that one. Yeah, so it's quite firm. All your sizes are all marked on there, and yeah, I think it's time we had a close look at the finish on these now to see what they look like. I've got to say, the finish looks absolutely tremendous. That's the fine pitch, that's the coarse pitch, and they are super sharp, really good, beautifully made, no deformities, and yeah, really, really good. That's as good as you could hope for, so I've no doubt that these are going to work well. Looking at the dies, it's the same story. Everything is really, really well made. I'm impressed, really impressed. And it's the same story with the tiny ones. They're really, really well done. Alright, let's try one out. M6, 5.2. Okay, we'll drill a 5.2mm hole. All going pretty good. No problem. So that was a piece of cake. Okay, we'll try a bolt in there. It's a nice tight thread. There's no wobble there. So that's really good. So that was according to the thread chart. Couldn't ask for any more. Alright, let's lengthen this metric 8mm thread. It's a typical job you'd want to do. Now this is metric coarse. It's a good snug fit. Now I have got a bigger die holder than this that I made up, so you put less load on your hands, but anyway. all going well. I mean, this is a hardened bolt, so it's doing a good job. The hardest thing about the small dies is they haven't got a lot of lead-in angle. The thicker the die, the better it will perform because you've got more of a gradual lead-in. These have got a fairly severe lead-in. And anyway, that's the downside with these small dies, but can't do much about it. Put the nut on. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So there you go. It all works well. Well, there you have it. What more can I say? It's a good product, a really good product. And yeah, having both the metric pitches is great. I really like that. Super good. Okay, here's some screen grabs on the product. And the link to it is in the video description, so you can get in there, check out the prices in your neck of the woods, and you can use the discount voucher that's down there and get a few more bucks off. So yeah, I recommend this. I think it's really nice, really good unit, and it's certainly, you know, a step above the small cheaper sets. And as you saw, you know, I tapped that hard metal bolt and that hard steel plate, no problem at all. There was no breakages or anything. Everything went smoothly, and yeah, what more can you say? I think it's a good set, particularly as it's not carbon steel. That's the main thing. Okay, catch you next time. Cheers.